Hey guys, it's Anna from the Heartbeat Hive. I'm back to keep going on the foundation of my coaching work that I wanted to share with you so that when I go further into the organizing and meditations and deep diving into beliefs, then you'll have the foundation that all of my coaching clients have. And hopefully these videos have been helpful for you. If you have specific examples, just let me know in the comments and I will try to maybe address them in other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, so let me take off my, my light blocking nerdy glasses, which totally work, by the way. I love them for being on the computer a little too much today. But I also have an app called on my computer and my phone called Iris, which I really recommend. All right, so what I wanted to do in the last video, I kind of touched on asking powerful questions, but I didn't give a lot of examples, and some of you may have noticed that. I just get going and it's fun for me to talk about this kind of stuff. So I want to go back and talk about powerful questions and use them in specific examples. All right, so let's go to, first let's review the foundation of my coaching work for those of you watching the first time. All right, so beliefs, behaviors, and results. These three things in this pyramid make up your personal power paradigm. It's kind of hard to make like a really straight pyramid. Anyways, so yeah. This is what I have referenced as solving for X. Like you take one away and you look at the others and you can go back and figure out which part on this triangle is missing or off or creating the other result or the other part. So if you have a specific result, you can work backwards and say, okay, well, how am I behaving to where I keep getting the same result? And is that behavior related to a belief? So asking yourselves these questions and using this little diagram will help you. Then if you feel like that's solid, then and you're still not getting the results or meeting your goals, then it may be one of these other aspects like clarity, consistency, or commitment. So if you're having an issue with maybe the progress hasn't been as much as you thought it would be, then go ahead and look at whether you're actually clear enough about what you want, clear enough about the steps, whether you're consistent enough, and whether you're actually committed. And I just want to say that it is okay for you to get to a certain point and then decide that you don't want to do something anymore. Don't feel like because you put it on paper, you said it out loud, you put it on social media, I'm going to do this. Those are all really great things and great ways to hold yourself accountable. But just because you put it out there and you have changed your mind doesn't mean that you should worry about what other people think. I definitely have done this before, and I just chalk it up to being human and me saying, you know what, I gave it an honest try and I went down that road and it just wasn't for me. So I'm changing my direction. All right, so what I want to do is go over some powerful questions. Now, before I do, I want to show you this book. Hopefully you can read it. It's called The Right Questions by Debbie Ford. It's a cute little book. It's like, I mean, I have large hands, but it's quite small and petite. But I really like it. I got it off Amazon really cheap, but it's like all marked up because this woman makes so much sense. And the font is kind of big to me, so you can get through this pretty easily. So it's called The Right Questions, 10 Essential Questions to Guide You to an Extraordinary Life by Debbie Ford. One of the best investments I've made. All right, so I'm going to go through some of her questions because I certainly cannot take directly from her work too much. I do recommend buying the book. It's a good book. All right, so let's go to my little chart here that I usually work with, my little whiteboard, because I love the whiteboard. Let me get my pen out here. So first, in the last video, we were talking about how do you ask a powerful question to kind of gauge yourself in a belief. So these questions by Debbie Ford, these are going to help us understand where we are with the belief. So let's look at the first one. The first question is, will this choice propel me toward an inspiring future, or will it keep me stuck in the past? So you can apply this to the behaviors and the beliefs. So if you come up on a belief and you think about it and it feels old to you and it doesn't feel good, that is an indicator for you to know that you have outgrown it and it is time to evolve. Whether or not that is comfortable or scary, who knows what it's going to be. And it doesn't have to be dramatic, I will say that. A lot of times in the transformational world, it is portrayed that like it's just going to be this big thing. But really a lot of change happens over a long period of time in tiny increments or small increments. So yes, you can go cold turkey and like stop smoking. Totally. People do it all the time. But the change that I'm interested in as far as personal development and power is that it's lasting change. So I work with people to make sure that when they're triggered or when they have doubts or fears or an event happens, that they don't slide maybe as easily back into that old belief and old behavior. And that comes with commitment and consistency and clarity. So on our little diagram, that's where that happens. Okay, so this is like your support network here, and then these are the pillars. So I don't know. If it was a house, it would be like insulation and framework. Okay, let's go back to what I was saying. So will this choice propel me toward an inspiring future, or will it keep me stuck in the past? So let's go back to the example I used with the working out and the being distracted by social media. So if that was a problem that I was having, I would say when I went to like pick up the phone and I started looking and like, ugh, even though I know like in my mind, okay, it's time to go work out. It's time to do the thing and to care for myself because that's what I want, right? So when I went here, this is the powerful question that I would ask. Will this choice propel me toward an inspiring future, or will it keep me stuck in the past? So if there's something that I was seeking here on the social media, validation, comparison, small hits of dopamine, by seeing what other people are doing, let's say, even like how they're working out, there's a difference between inspiration and comparison, okay? So my choice to keep doing that, if that was what I was dealing with, would not propel me to the future. It would actually keep me where I am and possibly regress me to the past of not feeling like I value myself or my time enough to prioritize my workout and my health. So underlying that, now that we've asked that powerful question, I can see that that belief that's really old is I'm not good enough. So why try anyways? And then you go into like the behavior of self-sabotage. Really, that distraction is about sabotage. And the sabotage, what's underlying the desire to sabotage, has to do with, in this case, self-worth. And going down to that fear, it's like, will I be good enough? So that's how you use a powerful question to kind of dig deeper, okay? So once I asked that question and I've looked at everything, then I have to make that choice. I have to say, okay, am I going to choose to work out and put the phone down, or am I going to choose to stay comfortable, possibly to stay in the safe zone, or to keep sabotaging myself by not taking care of myself and working out, like giving up this distraction and comparison for vitality, vibrance, health that I'm going to feel by working out. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Am I standing in my power, or am I trying to please another? Okay, so this one is a good one. Here's why. In the past videos I've talked about the perception of others influencing your behaviors and your decisions and choices, but also them being the source of your fear. Okay? So, am I standing in my power, or am I trying to please another? So, one example that I have experienced is being good at something and being in a room, like a meeting, and having the perceived pressure that I should volunteer for something because everyone knows that I am good at it. But what I like to say is that just because you're good at something does not mean that you should do it. Okay, so I had to let my cat out. Cats, man. All right, so the example I was talking about is being in a room, being good at something, and being surrounded by people who know you're good at that. And the perceived, thought or belief is, if I don't volunteer for this thing, I will be seen as lazy, selfish, whatever. But really, the choice is, do I really want to do the thing? That's the ultimate question. So let's say the thing is something I've done 100 times. I don't need any more experience doing it, and I actually just don't want to do it. Not in this specific instance because my workload is high or my energy has been low lately, whatever. By saying no to something, you are always saying yes to something else. Right? We live in a dualistic world, a dual reality, okay? Up, down, heaven, hell, whatever you want to say. So when you say no to something, you're going to say yes to something. In this case, I would ask this question: am I standing in my power, which really in this instance is my choice, or am I trying to please the group because I think that's what they want me to do? But really it creates resistance because I don't really want to do it. I don't feel like doing it, and I don't have to. And in that case, it was a volunteer opportunity. So once I learned how to recognize when I have a perceived pressure and obligation versus a real commitment or a real obligation, then I was able to relieve some pressure. Like, it seems so basic to be like, I don't want to do that. Screw you guys. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. My choice is this. Whether or not you think I'm X doesn't matter. I don't want to do it. So once I got past that, I had a lot less commitments and I became a lot happier because I freed up my time from pleasing other people and choosing me, choosing yes to something I wanted and saying no to something else. And this is something that's really common with creative people and empaths and people who like to help. Let's be honest. We like to get our hands in different things and feel useful and feel like we live with purpose. But in this instance, we want to make sure that we're not doing things to please other people in order to feel gratified and useful. There's a selfishness that comes with that, and there's an element of ego. So if you are doing something that's good for someone else, but your intention and your goal is to be seen doing it, that's not really that's not really a good thing. That's not a good reason to. You should want to do it because it's something you want to do. All right, let's move on. Next question, am I looking for what's right or am I looking for what's wrong? Okay, so have you ever been around people who constantly complain? You'll like hear them say a sentence and you think, okay, good, they got that out. And then they just keep going. Or worse, a group of people where one will complain and then the other one will try to one up them with their complaints, which is just like waste of energy. There's a difference between venting and complaining. One is acknowledgement, the other is like a soaking tub of like negativity. So the complainer will sit there and ruminate and think of all the reasons why something sucks, and the venter will be like, that sucked, I'm over it, and then they will actually switch the subject and move on to something else, or they'll acknowledge the other person, hey, thanks for listening, and then they go to something else. So they're not sitting in the tub. All right, so let's move on. Will this choice add to my life force or will it rob me of my energy? Oh yeah. Let's talk about energy vampires. If you have any of those in your life, then you know what I'm talking about. So when an energy vampire comes along and they always suck the life out of you, and they're like, hey, do you want to have dinner? Do you want to have lunch? You want to hang out? And you're just, in your mind, you're like, no. I don't want to do this. No, 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 no. So you have that other thing where I talked about saying no is actually saying yes to something else, whether it's time or relaxation. But also, there's a reason energy vampires are attracted to you. They want your good mojo. They want your good energy. So that's why they want to be around you. And also, when we feed energy vampires in a certain way, say like the person who complains but never tries to do anything about it, and you offer solutions and suggestions, you're pretty much enabling them to not problem solve for themselves or come up with a solution or to think differently for themselves. They wait and they come to you. And a lot of times, complainers, they will not take action. And so that's your indication when that happens to ask this question. Will hanging out with this person add to my life or will it rob me of my life force? And most of the time, in the case of energy vampires, it's going to rob you. So here's a tactic that you can use with energy vampires. Have some pocket phrases. I will write that down for you. Pocket phrases. They're exactly what they sound like. They're little phrases that you can pull out of your pocket and use. All right, pocket phrase number 1, I have plans. There's no explanation needed. Just, I have plans. I already made plans. You can say that. I already made plans. And whether your plan was to stay at home away from them, or to go out with someone else or whatever, like, that's your business. It's not theirs. They'll get over it. Another phrase, I've decided. Remember our phrases, I've decided and I'm in the process of. So I've decided to stay home. or whatever it is. You can also say, that's not where I want my energy. Or that's not how I want to spend my time. You can say time or energy. And they may not understand why, but if they're asking you, let's say, to dinner, you can just say, I already made plans. Or you can say, I've decided to stay home, or I've decided to not go out this week. You're not saying, I don't want to go out with you this week. You're just saying, I've decided not to go out this week. Now, if you do say this, you have to commit to it. So if someone else, comes along, you take your chances by actually going out. All right. The last phrase, that's not how I want to spend my time or energy. I would just say time. That's not how I want to spend my time. And the thing with energy vampires is they usually ask like why. But guess what? You don't have any obligation to tell them or qualify your decision. Doing so is a perceived obligation. It is a perception that you must qualify why you're deciding something. That is something that's draining in itself. All right, let's move on to the next question. Will I use this situation as a catalyst to grow and evolve, or will I use it to beat myself up? So remember, we're talking about self-sabotage. Getting on the phone when you're supposed to be working out is an act of self-sabotage. So if you have an inkling that you're going to use this against yourself later, like, well, I've already not gone to the gym 3 times in a row. What's one more time? That is furthering the sabotage and beating yourself up a little bit over it. So what? On the 4th time, you go. You change the pattern. And you can ask these other questions. Am I standing in my power, or am I trying to please another? And you could be trying to please your old self. Well, that feels more comfortable, so I'm just going to stay and do it again. Versus the new person you want to become. All right, so is this an act of self-love, or is it an act of self-sabotage? Yeah, so in the gym example, well, let's use a different one. Let's say you're trying to make a choice on food. And let's say you have something like a gluten allergy, or like there's just something about a specific food that doesn't make you feel good the next day. But you're sitting there and you're in front of it and you're maybe at a restaurant and you're thinking about ordering it, even though you know it's not going to make you feel good. This can be with alcohol as well. So are you loving yourself, or are you actually sabotaging yourself? That can be a very fine line in the moment. So you've got to learn to check in with yourself and really kind of get deep in there to say, yeah, if I order it now, it's loving myself right now, but it's also loving the old person that I was, or the old me that doesn't want that anymore. So for me, it would be something like gluten. Right now, I am recognizing that if I have too much, I wake up kind of with inflammation, which is very bizarre. I haven't had that before. So now, if I go out or someone offers me something as a snack or whatever, like, I have to think about it. How much have I had today in gluten and things that have gluten in it? And do I want to add to that? Because tomorrow I'm going to wake up a little sore and I've got to work out and I've got to do certain things. So what's my choice going to be? Am I going to love myself? Am I thinking about my future and tomorrow? Or am I going to keep myself in the situation of self-sabotage that doesn't feel good? It may feel good temporarily, but in the long run, I'm not going to like it. All right, so I think that this has been enough for today. These videos, I don't know how time just passes. But I hope they've been helpful for you and informative. and my little whiteboard isn't too messy. Again, I recommend this book, The Right Questions by Debbie Ford. You can find it on Amazon. It's pretty cheap. I want to review my Creating Personal Affirmations course. I've got a coupon code down below where you can purchase it. It's 20 minutes. It's not long, but it comes with a PDF and a worksheet that you can do with it. So I'll leave that description there. But I also want to talk about my creative mastermind. Now, this is January of this year. It's sort of what it looks like. It is a small group of people right now anyways. I release 3 things a month, and 9 months out of the year, we take 3 months off, is live. I have a live coaching call, and sometimes we do live work blocks together where we just work on our stuff together and kind of check in, how's it going. I think those are 2-hour work blocks. And then I release things like meditations and video lessons. So this is one of the examples here. So I have a Spotify playlist, and then a live call, and there's the replay, so you can always just listen to the replay. And then a workbook that started us out this year, and then a bonus each month. So the videos sort of look like this. And then you can just go to the next lesson. So we're already over here. This month we're exploring art and fear. Yeah, so that's the mastermind. Along with the mastermind, including those live calls, it's 3 releases a month. We have a group in an app called Band. And what I really like about Band is that it's super simple. And as you can see, there's not like all this stuff going on from the outside world outside of this group. You cannot find this group. You have to be invited. And with each person, you can see certain information about them. But this is my post for Monday, which I post on Mondays. We post what we're going to try to accomplish that week. And each time we kind of just comment on each other's stuff. On Fridays, I post something inspirational. And then on Wednesdays, we celebrate in gratitude what we're grateful for. There's going to be some other changes coming up with sharing what we're working on Saturdays, and then the live work blocks. But all the live calls are on the calendar, so you can see them there. And receive reminders right on your phone. So I like it because it's not on Facebook. I've kind of grown jaded over the years with Facebook, but I love that it's there. But for me, I want this group to be private. So you can actually put whatever name you would like, and you don't have to use your real name. You can only reveal certain information if you'd like, because this work is very private sometimes. What I don't like about Facebook and Instagram is that you have a certain amount of information that people can find out about you, basically. And if you're posting in a group and it's very sensitive and like you want that confidentiality, you can certainly have it here in Band. All right, so that's the mastermind. It looks like this. Each month kind of looks like this. It's really simple. I'm about simplicity. As you can see, my drawings, my slides, everything is super simple. Here's the affirmations course. We'll put a link to that. And then this is what we reviewed today, these powerful questions that you can ask and apply to your behaviors and your beliefs in order to reach certain results, obtain certain results. And this is the diagram for all of the things I've been working with you and teaching you about in these videos. I hope they've been helpful, and please feel free to find me on Instagram at HeartbeatHive, and you can go to my website heartbeathive.com, go to the Work With Me tab, and you can find information about my services. All right. Keep your, positivity high, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.